going to say, kind of a slow start on the front row, and you could see what resulted. Guys in the back bumping into one another. Hopefully no damage. I saw Stephen Parsons swing wide. Look at the dive to the bottom for Osamar.
42, wasting no time as they funnel down into turn one.
We saw a lot of grip in that second lane earlier today in the Arkham Nard series, so Nick Sanchez doing a nice job trying to break the draft and get away from these. Look how they're lined up on that outside line.
Garcia trying to get back to second.
That's a
inside of Hocevar tunnel turn.
That's a tough pass to make down on the bottom in the tunnel. It's so fast there. Talked to a couple of drivers yesterday, and they said the draft here changes everything. You can't really see where you're going and find your lift points because you're so tucked up behind the truck in front of you. Not only does it speed you up down the straightaway, it hurts visibility.
And that tunnel turn is rough, too. That thing gets bumpier every year.
Watch this three-wide move. Bam, there it is.
The old 2-for-1. Zane Smith in the 38. Got a little draft for those trucks running side by side. Can he get second in a turn one? Yes, he can.
Perfect scenario for Zane Smith, though, when those trucks were side by side, punching such a huge hole in the air, and he took advantage of it.
Look at Matty D down on the bottom, getting a push. Grant Enfinger on the back of that 25 truck. We talk about drafting, but man, these have been some great shots early on in this race to see exactly what we mean by how important it is here at Pocono.
See right of your screen, Corey Heim trying to make the move on Chase Purdy.
Made it work.
He did make it work and jumped in that throttle and squirted out ahead of Chase Purdy.
I was really curious to see whether the 11 of Corey Heim or the 51 of Kyle Busch got to the front first, because I know how fast both those trucks are, and right now give the advantage to Heim.
Good start to the day for Enfinger hanging around up front.
Well, I know that the draft is important here, and we talk about it, but it seems like it's even more important than what I remember.
This could be a big pull here for Purdy. He's going to dive to the bottom. At the initial start, man, there was a lot of mess going on in the back. I think it's because the leaders, Nick brought them down so slow that everybody started to anticipate the start in the back. Let's see if we can see if anybody got any damage. It's going to happen about that green truck back there where Stephen Parsons is. And see the trucks all bounding up there? That just gets worse as it goes back through the field. Ooh. I think Stephen was heads up on that when he had a nice run. He said, oh, I better abort, and the truck behind him hit him, but there was no damage. That's a good thing.
On board Kyle Busch. Scored in the 13th position, side by side with Stuart Friesen.
And he couldn't stay in the gas. Stewart up on the outside.
Stewart's got to go, because you look at those drivers. Oh, and there's a hard hit.
Tanner Gray.
First caution of the day. Comes out a couple of laps in.
Tanner was running in the 15th spot. He was really good in practice yesterday. Actually had the second quickest truck in practice.
Yeah, we interviewed him, and he was so optimistic about how, oh, that's not going to work.
As you can see, steam, obviously, he's punctured the radiator.
Got loose underneath the one.
It's his teammate.
Yep. Kaz Grala.
Yep. That's the radiator actually sticking up. It actually came out of its mount and is barely even hanging there.
You know, we talked about early, Adam, how hard it is to run that bottom. You're going to get loose down there. And that's exactly, oh, nice job by Ankrum hanging on, but he's going to have a little damage. Man, you just feel terrible for Tanner because it's just such a great truck, and he wanted it so badly, knows he's got to win. And
we talked about him being 24 points below the cut line coming in, needing a good run here. It's almost going to be a must-win for him now next week at Richmond.
You look at all those drivers. You don't know what their fate will be today, but you look at the number of drivers between him in a playoff spot and how tight things are. Seems pretty obvious now. He's going to have to win at Richmond if he's going to qualify for the playoffs. Let's go on board, see the view from Daniel Dye's onboard camera.
Oh, man.
We saw him wiggle and almost caught it one time. Then it got away from him, and just no way to avoid that inside safer barrier.
And you could hear Daniel heads up on the throttle. He saw him get sideways right away, lifted off, and then saw that it was going to be clear to the top and went that way.
Jamie?
After the impact with the wall, I was listening in on the radio, and there was a moment where they were considering trying to get Tanner to get the truck back to pit lane as safely as possible, but there was zero oil pressure, and with that indication, they, couldn't risk running it and blowing up the motor, so had to shut it off. We'll catch up with them.